Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
Gloves Off, and we have one of the pillars of our community, Commissioner Cindy Liendo, and we're going to be touching base on what's going on with the county, the future, and a couple of things.
Hi, Paul.
How you doing?
Good
to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me here.
No, thanks for standing up and also for the job that you've been doing.
Thank you.
You've been at it for a while now, no?
Yes, I actually took office in October of 2018. And so we had a great first year. 2019 started strong. We had a lot of great projects. Our calendar was full. And then, I'm very proud of the work that we've done. And we're continuing to do that. It's just in a different scale now because of the pandemic. We've had to change our plans a little bit. But we're very proud. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing at the county.
Absolutely. What changes have you seen? Because before that you were city council. What do you see the differences from working with the city and working with the county, and what's the differences between both?
Well, at the city, I loved what I did at the city as well. At the city, it's different because you actually, as a council member, get to touch everybody's lives every day, whether it's a sidewalk, a street improvement, lighting, animal control, water issues. And so it's something that people actually see, okay, my council member is making these improvements to help me. With the county, it's a little different because we deal mostly with the county budget and making sure that our departments are funded and staffed adequately. And then, of course, our county roads, ranches, a lot of infrastructure projects that are outside of what most of the county residents get to see. So there's a lot of work that's being done. It just reaches people in a different way. And so at the county, you might not see the impact that your tax dollars are having the way you do at the city. But we're still doing a lot of great work. We have wonderful departments that do a lot of services for our county. The one that I love the most, I think, is our CAA program. Right now we have mortgage assistance, rental assistance, utility assistance, Meals on Wheels. And so these are programs that have really helped a lot of our families, especially during this time of the pandemic, to help them, keep going.
Absolutely. And, a lot of people need to understand that those programs are out there. If we have somebody that's suffering through there, going through a crisis, how can they get assistance? Who do they call? What number would you?
Well, actually, the office for CAA is at one of our Precinct 4 community centers at the Fernando Salinas Community Center, which is at 520 Reynolds. So we invite you to come on by. We do ask people to call first just so that you know what to take. We don't want for you to have to be going and coming more than you have to. So if you have a particular need, you can call the office and either get connected directly to CAA, or you can speak to anybody there at the center. We have a wonderful staff who is familiar with all of the programs. So they're going to be able to tell you, okay, you need utility assistance, then these are the documents that you need to bring so that when you actually show up, you won't have to go back and forth looking for what they're going to ask you for.
Absolutely. What new projects does the county, what do you foresee? What's the next one? So if you can say anything about it.
Oh, yes. I mean, of course, we're working on the Webb County Fairgrounds.
Sure.
We're working on the Sheriff's Administrative Building. The County Constable for Precinct 4 is getting a new building. We have a detox facility that's in the works. We're also working on, there was the Bruni Health Clinic that opened up recently. So we have a lot of great programs, projects that are going on. I think some of you have heard on the news that we do have an employee health clinic. So one of the things that when I ran 4 years ago, I talked about was revamping our insurance program for our employees. A lot of our Webb County residents don't realize that by saving on the insurance costs for our employees, that's saving taxpayer dollars. Because as you all know, the employees at Webb County are paid by taxpayer dollars, and they have health insurance. So with this new clinic for our employees, it's helping us reduce costs because now they're going to the clinic, they don't have to pay a copay, we don't have to pay the doctors, and they're getting seen, they're getting treated, and they're also preventing from getting worse illnesses down the line. So this program has really helped us save a lot of money.
Absolutely. And so that's one program. Let's talk about the fairgrounds. Where's it at right now? Where's it going? How can we
Well, right now we're still working on the design phase. There's different things that we want to make sure that we implement into phase 1. And so we want to make sure that this is, that the fairgrounds are somewhere where we can hold a lot of different events, so that it's not just tailored for one specific group, but for the entire community. So right now we're still working out the details as to how it's going to be built, but it's moving along, and we look forward to seeing that completed very soon.
Absolutely, everybody does, because, you know, we need that. A lot of people say, no, it's going to be another white elephant and blah, blah, blah. We need that. We need to grow. We need to bring in events here. We need to start bringing in not only shows, we need to start bringing in sporting events. We have Laredo's, it's growing. And there's a lot of sports that are not being justified as per se, and we can take advantage of those if we had a good stadium, and we can be bringing in revenue for that. You know, a lot of people do not understand, but we need about events and so forth. If you have good events, people are going to come.
Yes.
And if there's good restaurants around, well, guess what's going to happen? People are going to go eat at the restaurants that are around there. If you have good concessions inside, they're going to do the whole thing. If you have, I remember years ago for an event that I don't know why they stopped. They used to have the rattlesnake roundups. Remember?
Yes.
Everybody used to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Freer. Everybody goes to Freer in April. You know, they go pack up and go to Freer. What happened to Laredo? How come we're not having one? We should be having one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We used to have gun shows. Gun shows are no longer.
Yeah.
They haven't been in Laredo for years.
We used to have this at the Civic Center.
At the Civic Center, remember?
Yeah,
They used to be at the Civic Center, the gun shows. Now you have to drive to San Antonio, you have to go to Corpus if you want to, Austin. What happened to Laredo? You know? And we need to start getting back. If we want to be number one, we better start acting like number one.
Definitely.
Not pretending. If you're
No.
and by meaning that is you have to start doing things to be there.
Well, you know, throughout the county we have different community centers, and what I tell everybody that attends our events at the centers is we need for you to participate. We need for you to come to our events, and that's the only way that we're going to be able to continue to put those events on. Because if we have something and nobody shows up, then what's going to happen next year, we're going to say, well, you know, it's not worth the investment to put on this event if nobody's going to come. And so that's the same thing with, you know, our centers, our entertainment facilities, is that we need to make sure that we stay here. A lot of times people go out of town for the same concerts that we have here, and, you know, we just need to make it more attractive. And so I'm very excited about the fairgrounds. Another, you know, comparison to that would be our golf course. The county is investing a lot of money into the golf course right now to make sure that it continues to improve. If you had been out there a couple of years ago and seen the way it was, and you see the way it is now, you would just be amazed. They have gone through so many wonderful improvements, and this is a quality of life issue. Some people, you know, we have our high school kids who go out there and golf, even some middle schoolers, but this is a quality of life issue, because when people are looking to relocate, they want to make sure that they have somewhere that they can, you know, go golf, that they have entertainment. And so we're just, you know, excited about those improvements as well.
No, you're absolutely. You know, and we have to, you know, everybody complains, our kids are growing up and they're moving out of town because there's no jobs. We have to start bringing them back in.
Mm-hmm.
If the city doesn't want to do it, the county's going to have to say, you know what, we got the land, let's start building it. You know, let's start pushing these factories to come down here. The city doesn't want to do it because we can't.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. You know, business is business. You got two corporations there that kind of follow the same track. One protects the other, vice versa. They kind of borrow from one another, if you want to put it that way. But sometimes, I'm sorry, it has to happen. you know.
Yeah, well, we're
And-
doing everything that we can. You know, we're very pro-business and, of course, you know, pro-community. We want to make sure that our local citizens have the different facilities that they need to entertain themselves here. Because of the pandemic right now, money's tight for everybody. And so we want to make sure that you don't have to go out of town. You can enjoy the same things here that you would in San Antonio, McAllen, Corpus, anywhere else. So we're very excited about, you know, different projects that we're working on right now.
Absolutely. You know, many people don't know, but I teach. Before the pandemic, I used to teach 2 weekends out of the month. I was teaching out of Laredo, because of what we do around the United States. So all of a sudden, the pandemic hits, and all that is gone. You know, you don't. Some people might call them speaking arrangements. Well, mine was actually teaching arrangements, right? But and it hasn't come back. So, you know, a lot of people we want to still go train with you. Can we go visit you? Of course. We have to bring in events. We have to do workshops here. So now you have to kind of schedule the thing in here. And we also have to have the airport friendly for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have to have the hotels friendly for that as well, you know, because sometimes you have an event that you bring in between 20 to 30 people on given weekends, you know, and right now we don't have the hotels to facilitate that. That's something that we need to start actually putting our foot down and say, you know, we have events coming up. How are you guys going to be able to do this, you know? Because we have to grow.
We do. We definitely do. You know, and I think we can get there. We just need to work together, and that's another thing that we have to continue to work on our partnerships, making sure that, you know, the governments partner with our private sector as well. You know, public-private partnerships are very important. Our nonprofits are so important. Right now, we've seen them really step up and help with, you know, vaccinations and testing, and it's just, I think all our community coming together, we can do so much more.
Absolutely. And, you know, a lot of people, not because, you know, I sit on the board of a nonprofit, but a lot of nonprofits out there have been, through the pandemic, are the ones that are keeping a lot of things up and running.
Yes, they're doing an amazing job.
And, you know, if it wasn't for Pilar, you know, friends that were going down the rabbit hole, you pull them back out and, you know, go get some help. Let's get these people some help, you know, let's start.
Mental health is very important.
We have to right now,
Yes.
because our kiddos are out there and, you know, they're being left alone, and everybody was happy to go back to school, and all of a sudden they took this past week off.
Yes.
They were like, you saw them get angry, and they were like, why, you know, it's.
Yeah, and they need to, you know, interact with their friends, and it was very difficult for kids, you know, having to stay home for that whole year, and they need that. They need to be with their classmates, so.
Absolutely. So now tell me, we got early vote coming in, and I know you're in for a re-election. How do you see the election? How do you see the voting? Do you still see how can I say, the energy as the past elections to now? What do you see? Tell me.
Well, I mean, I'm very excited about the election. It's coming up on February 14th. That's when we start early voting. But there isn't that many races that are contested this year, so I'm thinking that the turnout might be low. We are doing everything that we can to encourage people to come out to vote, and I mean, every vote matters, and so we want for you to be informed. I'm really grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to be here to talk a little bit about what I've done and what I plan to do, and people need to know that, and go out and vote. There is going to be a new system for voting, so if you're not sure, if you can go to the elections office and ask them to see the machine so you can know before you actually go vote how it's going to work. And we are working on trying to get some of the machines brought out to our centers so that people can practice on them before. It's going to be computerized, so you put your ID in, and then it's going to know what precinct you belong to, and then it'll print out, it'll print out a label for you to then insert into your actual, you know, the keyboard that's going to be in front of you, the computer in front of you to vote. So once you put in your your little paper, it's going to pop up the different races that are in your precinct. So then you're going to vote on the computer. What I like is the next step. It's going to print your selections. So you're going to be able to double check that what you entered into the computer is what's on paper. Then you're going to enter your paper into another machine where it'll actually, at the end of the entire, voting cycle, will be able to calculate and tabulate who wins. But if we want people who are unsure about the computer, I think that you can be at ease because there is going to be a paper trail. So once you make your selections, you see you voted for Cindy Liendo on the computer. When the paper comes out, make sure that it's on the paper, put it in the ballot box, and then if there should be any issues, there's going to be a paper trail that we can go back and check and make sure that the numbers that the computer gave us are what's actually on the printed documents. So it's going to be a little different, but I hope that everybody knows that it's safe and secure. So please go out and vote and trust that if there should be any questions, we are going to have a paper trail that we can check.
Absolutely. I actually voted on one of those right here on the corner in the last election that just happened.
Me too.
And I was like, okay, it's fairly easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. But I encourage everybody to do your research here get involved, go vote. Since the last elections now, and I've gotten closer to my kids and talking about the process and the whole thing and why you should vote and why you shouldn't vote and all that good stuff. And so they're always asking questions.
That's good.
My son's going to be 18 in November, in September, so he'll be ready to vote in November. So he's already, this one, and I go with me, go meet some of the candidates because you're going to be voting in a couple of months.
Yes.
Get to know what the future's going to be like, and he goes over there, and so it's nice to see. Get your family involved. That's what I'm telling you. Don't let others influence your kids while you're the one that can take them to go vote. Okay, that's the way I look at it. Explain to them how the process works and why and the whole 9 yards.
And the kids are really smart.
Man.
They sometimes have more research on the candidates than some of the adults, and I really applaud, our local media for that and in getting that information out there, and of course our teachers at the schools, and saying exactly what you just said, in that they need to, get informed and fulfill their civic duty and go out and vote. And so I know they'll make the right choice.
No, and you see that what I like is get involved. Get involved with what your kids doing. That's something that we as parents sometimes forget. We get home and the kids are on the phone. Get involved. Check and see what games they're playing. Try to start.
Yeah.
Don't let somebody else influence them.
We've done some, before the pandemic, where we would have the career days at schools, and a lot of times some of the students would ask, well, what should I do if I want to run for office in the future? And what I always tell them is get involved. Get involved in your school clubs to start with, and then once you graduate, make sure that you're involved in your community organizations, the nonprofits. Get yourself out there where you actually get to meet people that you didn't know before and hear problems that maybe you've never heard of before. And that's, I think, going to make you a good public servant and leader when you're actually open to hearing what other people are going through. And sometimes people have wonderful ideas. I just met with a gentleman a couple of nights ago who actually has a great idea for solving the traffic problem on Mines Road. And so we're going to incorporate some of his ideas and do a little research and see if we can make that happen. But, just by getting out there and getting different ideas moving, I think that's how things get done sometimes.
Absolutely. And we'll leave you all with this. You all stay safe, be safe, always be at peace, especially now. And we have a couple of days that are going to be cold weather. And, bring your pets inside. There's a new law out there, you can't have them chained up anymore, so understand that. But on the other note, wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And guys, early votes, a week away.
Yep.
Literally a week away. And so, until next time, much peace.